Do you notice something strange? Millions of people around the world are talking about FIFA World Cup 2026 hosted in the USA. Now, they are debating which country will win and lift the trophy. They are arguing about which superstars will win the Golden Boot. They are even discussing whether North America is ready to host the biggest sporting event on the earth, the planet, or in the universe. Today we're going to discuss it. But almost nobody is asking the question that could impact millions of travelers. How will the tournament change travel? Or how will the industry or the tournament itself change the entire industry, the travel industry, forever? Because the biggest story of the World Cup might not happen inside the stadium. It might happen inside the airports. It might happen inside the hotels. It might happen even on the highways. It might happen even on a cruise port. Who knows? It might happen in the Caribbean destinations, thousands of miles away from those stadiums. Who knows? Because this tournament is not just about 90 minutes of football, or as they would say in America, soccer. It is about the movement of millions of people. Okay? It is about flights that suddenly become expensive, hotels that sell out overnight, cities transforming into international hubs. Boston could tell you all about that. Transportation companies becoming some of the most valuable businesses during the tournament. Cruise lines creating new vacation opportunities, and Caribbean islands benefiting from travelers saying, you know what, since I'm already here, why not spend another week in paradise? Wouldn't that be nice, huh? Now, that is what we are going to be discussing today, because FIFA World Cup 2026 is not just a sporting event, like I said. It is one of the biggest travel events in the world, right? And people look forward to those experiences. And whether you are planning to attend the World Cup, owning a travel business, operating a transportation company, or even working in hospitality, or simply someone who loves exploring the world, this episode could actually help you understand opportunities, challenges, and also decisions that could save you hundreds and maybe even thousands and maybe even $100,000, because the price does go up that much. So, guys, grab your favorite drink, sit back, relax, and let us travel together. Today, we're going to explore the impact of the World Cup on the USA and its travel. This is Island Vacation Travel Podcast. Okay, now, the biggest World Cup ever. This is how it's actually being labeled right now. The biggest World Cup ever. And I mean, they've had some amazing World Cups from Africa to Brazil to Russia to Japan. But this one in the US in 2026 is the biggest, or labeled the biggest World Cup ever. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, we have never seen anything like this. The 2026 FIFA World Cup will be the largest tournament in history. 48 national teams, 104 matches, 3 host countries, 16 host cities, 39 days of global attention. Think about what that actually means. Every few days, millions of people will be boarding planes, crossing international borders, checking into hotels, using transportation services, booking restaurants, exploring attractions, spending money in local communities. This is not just football. This is a movement of humanity. All right? And when people ask me about the World Cup, I don't immediately think about the final match. I'm a soccer head. I'm a football head. I've been a fan of World Cup from the time I can remember myself. So I do not just think about the final match. I think about the actual infrastructure behind the entire experience. I think about the airports, immigration lines, transportation networks, hotels, the cruise spots, the tour operators and the DMCs, travel advisors, because that is the world that I come from. That is my world. That is what we do at Island Vacation Travel Agency. We help people move around this amazing, and I'll stress, amazing planet. Okay? We upgrade experiences. We help travelers navigate the details so they can actually focus on enjoying the journey. And from a travel perspective, this tournament is absolutely fascinating, I must say, to say the least. Let's discuss the economic impact of World Cup travel. Let's talk about something that always follow major global events, the global economic impact. The World Cup is expected to create billions of dollars in economic activity throughout North America. Of course, Canada and Mexico all included. But where does that money actually go? A lot of people think it only goes to the stadiums. That's not true. There's a lot of moving parts. The money moves through the entire travel ecosystem. Okay? It goes to hotels, airlines, restaurants, local attractions, tour companies, transportation providers, retail businesses, entertainment venues, not to mention travel agencies, small businesses, and even everyday workers. Okay? A visitor does not just buy a match ticket. They buy breakfast. They take a taxi. They book tours. They visit attractions. They buy souvenirs. Also, they extend their vacations. Okay? One traveler creates economic activity in multiple industries. Multiply that by millions of visitors, and you'll understand why this event is so important to the economy, right? The impact is very, very real, right? Now, why travelers should pay attention? Here is something many people overlook, okay? The average international visitor is not flying thousands of miles just to watch one match. That's not what's happening. They are creating a vacation. Imagine someone flying from Europe. They arrive in the United States. Maybe they watch a match in Miami. Then they visit Orlando. Then they travel to New York. Then they take a cruise. Then they relax in the Caribbean. That is how modern travel actually works. People are maximizing their investments. If you already spend money on international airfare, hotels, travel insurance, time away from work, why rush home? Extend the experience. One life to live. Explore more. Create more memories. That is why travel planning has become so important. Yes, guys, planning your travel properly, not just on a fly or in a rush or on an app. Okay? You plan. The new era of experience-based travel. The traveler today is actually different. People are not just looking for a hotel room. That is something far-fetched and a long way from how people travel right now. They want experiences. They want a bang for their buck. They want stories. They want a great story to bring back to their friends, their family, their workplace, their group, their club. That is what it's about. They want moments they could share. A World Cup visitor may say, hey, I want to watch my country play. But they also say, I want to experience the city. I want to taste the food. I want to understand the culture. What is the culture in whatever state that we're actually playing the game? Because every state is different, right? New York is different from Atlanta. Atlanta is different from Dallas, right? Dallas is different from Miami. I want something memorable. That is where travel professionals provide value. A travel advisor does not simply book a flight, okay? A travel advisor creates the entire journey. The flight, the hotel, the transportation, the activities, the insurance, the recommendations, and the memories. That is the difference between booking travel and designing an experience, okay? Now, I have an interesting thought. Why the Caribbean could be a major winner. And I'm not just trying to be biased. Now, this is actually the part that actually excites me because my heart is always connected to the Caribbean because I call it home, especially the island of Lucia. Think about this. A traveler flies from whether it's Germany, England, Brazil, Japan, France, even Africa. Yep. They arrive in North America for World Cup. Maybe they are in either Miami, Atlanta, Houston, New York, or Toronto. Now they look at the map and they realize the Caribbean is right there, just a few hours flight away. Suddenly, they start thinking, why not? Why not add another week to the vacation? Why not experience island life? Why not relax after an excitement of the tournament of World Cup? The Caribbean becomes the perfect extension. Imagine standing beneath the pitons in St. Lucia, exploring Jamaica, enjoying Barbados, discovering Antigua, experiencing Grenada, or even just relaxing in the Bahamas. The World Cup can introduce millions of travelers to those destinations they may have never considered before. And that is the power of tourism. And such a thought came to me because even when there is like Miami Carnival, Atlanta Carnival, sometimes people who travel from England or Canada, they tend to want to take a cruise, 2-day, 3-day cruise to go to the Caribbean and relax before they head back home. Same thing is going to happen with World Cup, right? Now, before we continue, I wanted to say a big thank you to our sponsors. Travel is not just where you go, okay? It is also about how you represent yourself along the journey. This episode is actually brought to you by IVTA Wear Store. Sorry about that. Whether you are preparing for your next vacation, airport adventure, cruise, or simply want travel-inspired clothing for your everyday lifestyle, IVTA Wear brings the spirit of exploration to your wardrobe. Okay? Now, for comfortable travel apparel to vacation-inspired designs, IVTA Wear represents the traveler's mindset. Wrinkle-free, that kind of stuff. Waterproof stuff, right? Because travel is more than just a destination, it is a lifestyle. Visit ivtaware.store.com and upgrade your travel style today. This episode is also proudly sponsored by Island Vacation Travel Agency. It's how we have fun in the sun. We're talking about something much bigger than soccer today. We're talking about how FIFA World Cup 2026 could transform the way millions of people travel. And we're already seeing it right now as we speak, as it's currently going on. Because when an event this large comes to North America, the impact does not stop when the referee blows the whistle, as I said. The real story happens before the match, it happens after the match, it happens in the airports, it happens in the hotels, it happens on the highways, and it happens in the restaurants and communities, to say the least. And today, we are going deeper into the industry that could experience the biggest changes. Now, we've discussed them before. We're going to go back into this topic. Why airlines are the first domino to fall, right? Let's talk about airlines because every travel experience begins with one question. How do I get there? When millions of people decide travel at the same time, airlines become one of the most important parts of the entire operation. Now, many travelers assume airlines will just add more flights, but it's not that simple. Airlines have to manage aircraft availability, pilot schedules, crew availability, airport gates, maintenance requirements, international regulations, fuel costs, weather conditions, and existing summer travel demands. Because remember, it's summer. People do not stop traveling for summer. That's when it actually picks up. All the kids are actually at home. Remember, the World Cup is happening during a period when many people are already traveling. Okay? Families are taking vacations. Students are on break. Businesses are holding meetings or conventions. People are visiting relatives as well. Now add the millions of soccer fans into that equation. That creates a massive logistical challenge, guys. A massive logistical challenge. Why fares can actually change quickly. This is why travelers may see something surprising. One day, a flight is $600. A few days later, or maybe even 24 hours, the same flight could be $1,200. Why? Supply and demand. When more people want the same seat on the same plane, prices increase. Okay? This is why preparation matters. Smart travels. Monitor prices early. Stay flexible with dates. Consider nearby airports. Book important parts of the trip before demand peaks. Because waiting too long can become extremely expensive. Yes, it actually could become extremely expensive. Yeah. And it's not fun spending double for the same exact product. Now, hotels versus vacation rentals. Now, let's move into hospitality. The hotel industry is preparing for one of the biggest travel movements ever, but there is another competitor that continues to grow: vacation rentals. Why? Because travelers are changing, especially groups. Imagine 8 friends traveling from another country. You see, they have two options. Option 1, reserve multiple hotel rooms. Option 2, rent a large home where everyone stays together. The vacation home gives them more space, a kitchen, a living area, a place to even celebrate, a place to watch other matches together, right? And sometimes a better value. This is especially attractive for families, friend groups, corporate teams, international visitors, just to give a few. The World Cup is not just creating demand for beds, it's creating demand for experiences. And that is important. That is what customers want. Why group travel will explode? This is something I believe will become a major opportunity. And we have prepared for it at Island Vacation Travel Agency, group travel. The World Cup is naturally a group event. People are not traveling alone. They are traveling with friends and families and co-workers, fan clubs, community organizations, even businesses. And groups need more than a flight and a hotel. They need coordination. They need transportation, right? They need schedules, activities to keep them preoccupied, restaurants, meeting spaces, and even local recommendations. That is where professional travel planning becomes very valuable, because managing a group of 20 is very different from planning a vacation for 2. It is not the same. It's a very big difference. Now, the real transportation challenge. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest issues that many travelers actually overlook: the transportation issues. Everybody thinks about, how do I get tickets? Where will I stay? But very few people ask, how am I getting around, back and forth? And during a global event, that question becomes crucial and critical. Imagine this. You're landing at the airport, your flight was delayed, thousands of other fans just arrived. Everyone is looking for transportation. Rideshare prices skyrocket. Rental cars become limited. Taxi lines become longer. Public transportation becomes crowded. Now, multiply that across 16 host cities. Transportation becomes one of the most important parts of the World Cup's experience. Think about that. Why private transportation becomes a premium service. During normal travel, transportation is often viewed as just a ride. During major events, it becomes something more. It becomes convenience, it becomes reliability, it becomes peace of mind. Travelers are willing to pay for confidence. They want to know someone will be waiting. The driver also knows the area. The vehicle is comfortable and clean, and the schedule is organized. The family or group is taken care of. That is why private transportation companies have a major opportunity. Not because they are simply moving people, because they are protecting the travel experience. Yeah. Now, this segment is sponsored by Island Vacation Transportation, right? Or Island Vacation Concierge Transportation and Courier, right? Your vacation should begin the moment you arrive. Whether you are traveling through Central Florida for Orlando International Airport, Tampa International Airport, Port Canaveral cruises, theme parks, hotels, business events, group transportation, Island Vacation Transport, guys, provides professional, reliable, and comfortable, clean travel solutions. No guessing, no unnecessary stress, no worries about how you will get there. Just dependable service from arrival to destination. Visit islandvacationsTransport.com. Okay, that is islandvacationsTransport.com. And let Island Vacation Transportation help you move with confidence. Now, moving forward, business travel, the side of the World Cup people forget. Now, let's discuss something that does not receive enough attention. Business travel. Many people think the World Cup is only for sports fans, but global sporting events are also massive business opportunities. Companies use events like this to entertain clients, reward their employees, build partnerships, network internationally, host meetings, create memorable experiences. Imagine a company inviting a major client to attend a World Cup match. This is not just entertainment. That is relationship building. That is business development. That is called marketing. And those travelers often require premium service. They need luxury accommodation, private transportation, professional planning, executive level experiences. This creates opportunities for travel advisors and hospitality businesses. Priceless. The World Cup as a global business conference. Think about everyone who will be there. Corporate sponsors, media companies, technological companies, financial organizations, tourism boards, government representatives, entrepreneurs, philanthropists, investors. This tournament becomes one giant international networking event, right? The conversations happening outside the stadium could be just as important as what's happening inside. It's just food for thought, okay? Small businesses can actually benefit as well. One of my favorite parts about tourism is seeing how it impacts everyday entrepreneurs, okay? Major events create opportunities for small businesses. A visitor might spend money at a local coffee shop, family-owned restaurants, souvenir stores, a local tour company, a transportation provider, a photographer, cultural experience. A small business owner may never step inside the stadium, but they can still benefit from the visitors who come because of the tournament. This is the power of tourism. Not to speak about the content creators, right? Podcasters and everyone alike. They're involved in that as well too. Now, cruises and the World Cup connection. Now, let's talk about something exciting. Cruises, especially for Florida. Imagine this travel journey. A visitor flies into Miami. They attend the World Cup match. They explore the city of Miami. Then they board a Caribbean cruise. That sounds fun, right? That's a perfect combination. The traveler gets sports, culture, adventure, relaxation, all in one. A cruise extension makes sense because many international travelers are already making the long journey. Why not add another experience? Florida ports like Port of Miami, Port Canaveral, Port Everglades are all perfect position for this opportunity. Perfect position. Central Florida, a major beneficiary. Of course, we have to discuss Central Florida. Now, I want to talk about home, Central Florida. That's where we live. That's where our office is located. Because this region has something unique, it's already knows how to welcome millions of visitors. Central Florida has theme parks, hotels, restaurants, convention facilities, transportation networks, cruise access, entertainment, and global recognition, right? A travelers coming from the World Cup may say, since I'm already in Florida, let's extend the trip. They may visit Walt Disney, Universal Orlando, Legoland, or even SeaWorld Orlando, Busch Gardens in Tampa, Camp Margaritaville, local restaurants hidden throughout. Okay? Hidden gems, they'll go try explore them and find out where they are. This is where destination marketing is powerful. A sporting event becomes a gateway to an entire vacation. Okay. So Central Florida is a strategic location and perfectly positioned. What this means for travel advisors, right? For your travel advisors listening, if you are a travel advisor listening today, this is the time to think bigger. And you should have already thought about this months in advance. Do not just sell transportation. Do not just sell hotels. Do not just sell flights. Create complete experiences. Combine flights, hotels, transportation, activities, cruises, right? Caribbean extensions, insurance, local experiences. The future of travel is not about booking one item. It's about creating seamless journeys because anyone can search online, but not everyone can design a stress-free experience. That is where travel professionals provide value. Okay. When we come back, guys, we are going to discuss why some World Cup cities become tourism winners, why others may struggle, how the Caribbean and St. Lucia could benefit from this global event, and what travelers and businesses need to do now before the biggest travel wave arrives. Stay with me. All right. Now, we have been breaking down the travel impact of FIFA World Cup 2026. And by now, I hope you see the big picture. Okay. The tournament is not only about soccer, it is about movement, it is about tourism, it is about business, it is about opportunity. It is about how one global event can influence the way millions of people experience the world at large. But now I want to talk about something very important. Not every destination will benefit the same way. Some cities are positioned for massive growth. Some businesses are prepared for record demand. And some destinations outside the host countries could experience a surprising tourism boost. And it looks like it's going to be the Caribbean. Let's talk about why. Why some World Cup cities will win big. When people at World Cup host cities, they often assume every city will experience the same level of success, and that is far from the truth. But tourism does not work that way. Every destination has different advantages. Some cities have major international airports, strong hotel inventory, existing tourism popularity, large entertainment industries, efficient transportation, global recognition. Other cities may struggle because they lack enough accommodation, easy transportation options, visitor infrastructure, international awareness. The World Cup creates opportunity, but preparation determines who benefits most. And that is something each and every host has to pay attention to and keep in mind. Now, the power of the match schedules. One of the biggest facts will be who is playing where. Think about it. If a country with millions of passionate fans plays a match in a specific city, that city could experience a huge increase in visitors. Fans follow their teams. They book hotels, they book flights, they buy food, they explore neighborhoods, they spend money. The match schedule can completely change tourism's demand. A city hosting a popular national team could experience a completely different impact compared to a city hosting a less followed match, right? Miami. sports, culture, and the Caribbean connection. All right. Let's talk about Miami. Miami is already one of the world's most international cities. It has beautiful beaches, luxury hotels, tons of them, cruise access, the best, nightlife, some of the best, Latin American culture, very attractive, international flights, and a strong Caribbean connection. For many international travelers, Miami is not just a stop, it's already a destination. A World Cup visitor coming to Miami may naturally think, why not stay a few days extra, right? They may explore South Florida. They may take a cruise. They may connect to the Caribbean. Miami could become one of the biggest gateways during the tournament. It could be a blessing to the Caribbean. New York, on the other hand, New York, the global city experience. Then we have New York, right? For many international visitors, New York is already on the bucket list. The World Cup gives travelers an other reason to visit. Imagine watching a World Cup match walking through Times Square, visiting Central Park, exploring the museum, which people do not discuss very often that New York possesses, trying restaurants from around the world. New York has some of the best restaurants as well. New York is not just hosting a match, it's selling an entire experience. And boy, do they have an experience in New York right now. The New York Knicks won the NBA Finals, so it's a great place to be right now. Next, we move on to Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, and other destinations. Other host cities bring their own advantages. Houston, a diverse international community, strong food culture, major airport connections. Dallas, it has large infrastructure, entertainment options, lots of entertainment options, business connections. Atlanta, Atlanta is a major transportation hub, a city with global connections thanks to Delta. Every host city has a story, and that is what makes this World Cup different. Travelers are not just visiting one destination, they are experiencing an entire continent. Next, we move on to the Caribbean opportunity, why the island should pay attention. If you're listening, now let's return to the Caribbean because this is where I believe there is the most opportunity. Okay? The Caribbean has always been a dream destination, but global events create new reasons for people to discover places they may never have considered. For example, carnival, jazz, and all that kind of stuff. Imagine a traveler who has never visited St. Lucia. They come to North America for the World Cup. They experience the excitement, the crowds, the culture, and the energy. Then someone asks, have you ever been to the Caribbean? Maybe they search online. Maybe they might see a picture of the pitons. Maybe they might see I Show Speed running out there. Maybe they discover the beaches. Maybe they learn about the food. Maybe they experience the culture. A World Cup trip becomes the first chapter of a Caribbean vacation story. So that's a great option. St. Lucia is more than a beach destination. Now, let me talk about St. Lucia really, really quick because St. Lucia represents something special. Yes, the island has beautiful beaches. Yes, the resorts are incredible. Yes, the scenery is breathtaking. But what separates St. Lucia is the experience. The people, the culture, food, right? The history of the island, the adventure, the island's personality is unlike no other. Travelers today are looking for authenticity. They don't just want a photo. They want a story. They want a connection. They want something meaningful. That is where St. Lucia shines. And to top it off, St. Lucia just partnered with the winners of the Premier League in England, Arsenal. So they're focusing on sports, tourism, wellness, and retreats. I thought it was important that I should state that. Now, why travelers extend their vacations? This brings us to a major travel trend, vacation extension. That is very real. Travelers are becoming smarter. They are saying, if I'm already traveling this far, why not see more? A World Cup visitor may combine sports, cruises, theme parks, city experiences, Caribbean relaxations, business meetings, family visits. This is the future of travel, multi-destination journeys. And travel professionals are perfectly positioned to create these experiences. Okay? So if you're trying to book such vacations, that is where travel professionals comes into play. Now, how businesses should prepare. If you own a tourism business, tourism related business, now is the time to prepare, or you should have already been prepared. Ask yourself, can travelers find me online? Is my website easy to use? Can international customers understand my services? Do I offer packages? Do I have strong reviews? Can customers contact me quickly? The traveler journey starts online. Before someone visits your business, they visit your website. Okay? They visit your social media. They read your reviews. Your digital presence is your first impression, and we know first impression lasts a lifetime, right? The importance of storytelling. This is why content matters. Videos matter, podcasts matter, social media matters. Travel business needs to tell stories. Show people the destination, the experience, the culture, the people, because travelers do not buy places, they buy feelings, they buy memories, they buy the promise of an experience. That is what attracts travelers, to say the least. Okay? Now, just going to give you some travel tips for the World Cup visitors that are still in the 3 different countries. Now, if you're listening and planning to attend the World Cup final matches or the round of 16, here are some important tips. Number 1, you should have planned early. Do not wait until the last minute. You still have about a week or so to actually plan for the last lap. Demand will increase, that is for sure. Number 2, be flexible. Consider nearby cities, alternate airports, different travel dates. Number 3, sorry about that, guys. Yes, so you have to consider different travel dates when you're traveling. All right, be mindful of transportation, shopping. Yeah, don't forget insurance. Consider your flights, your hotels, your transportation, your food, your activities, right? Your shopping. Number 4, protect your investment. Very important. Travel insurance is something worth considering for major international trips. Now for this event and moving forward, if you're listening. Number 5, enjoy the destination. Do not only attend the match, experience the culture, try out the bars, the food, check out the people. America is a beautiful place to enjoy. All right. I know there's a lot of fear mongering. Try the food, meet the people, as I said, and create some memories because it is very, very important. All right. Now, before we close today's episode, I want to thank our partners who make Island Vacation Travel Podcast possible. All right. We want to say a big thank you to IVTA Wear Store. Okay. Travel is a lifestyle. I hope you know that. Represent your love for exploration with travel-inspired apparel and accessories. Visit ivtawearstore.com where the journey. We all also want to say a big thank you to Blessing Simos from St. Lucia, bringing Caribbean wellness and island traditions to your lifestyle. Experience the natural spirit of St. Lucia's Simos Jello. Okay. Next, we want to say a big thank you to Old Glory, celebrating quality, tradition, and American pride, and also nostalgia. Thank you for supporting this episode. And you could visit their website and use our code Island Vacation to get 15% off your order. Next, we want to say thanks to Island Vacation Transport. When the journey begins, transportation matters, airport transfers, cruise transportation, private rides, group transportation. In Central Florida travel, visit Island Vacation Transport. Okay. And we can help you get where you need to go more comfortably and with confidence. Okay. So, just to close, guys, the FIFA World Cup 2026 will be eventually ending, which is very soon. We're on the round of 16 already. The champions will leave the trophy. The celebrations will fade. The stadium lights will turn off, but the impact will continue because travel is about more than destination. It is about connection. It is about opportunity. It is about people, most importantly. A sporting event can bring millions of people together, but travel creates memories that last a lifetime. For travelers, prepare early, travel smart, explore more. For business, get ready, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, and tell your story. Create experiences because when the world starts moving, opportunity moves with it. I am your host, Al Philogen, with Island Vacation Travel Podcast. Thank you for joining me for this special episode. World Cup 2026, the insane impact you haven't considered as yet. Until next time, keep exploring, keep discovering, and remember, travel is not just about where you go, it's about the story you bring home. See you on the next journey. This episode is in honor of my mentor, Dr. Eva Boswell. Rest in paradise.